going to go over my TuneBot settings in my mic setup here for my drums. I'm going to try and have good sound quality and be very accurate with my settings. I do have a couple overheads here, and I will be using gates, compression, gain, all that stuff for the first bit, and then I will have some just clear mic sounds after so you can hear how it sounds in the room. So we won't waste too much time. I just did this video and the microphones weren't working. So I'll go over what they are, and then I'm going to play them all just so I have to edit less because I already wasted way too much time on this today. But on my 8-inch tom, I'm at 258 and 306 on the bottom. My 10-inch tom, I'm at 234 on the top and 258 on the bottom. My 12-inch tom, I'm at 165 on the top and 180 on the bottom. And my 14, I'm at 144 on the top and 140 on the bottom. Two things, I tuned these by ear and checked after. And the second is, once I got them in perfect tune with themselves using the TuneBot, I noticed the drum dial, actually a lot of my tensions are different at each lug, but I like to go by the TuneBot because you know it's in tune. Even with the drum dial, I will tune it by ear after, and sometimes it's just not perfect. Not every head and shell syncs up perfectly, and that's just the way it is. These are newer heads, and these bearing edges are perfectly good. And the last two things are, I'm using clear heads on this kit, top and bottom, except for my snare. And I do have a couple pieces of moon gel to calm down some of the overtones. Some people don't like them, some people do. That's personal preference. And if you use coated heads, dual single ply, if you have wood, brass, steel, it's all going to change the tone of the drum. Sometimes at different tensions, they will have the same note. So that's just something to keep in mind. Oh, and before I forget to mention, the snare drum is 310 on the top and 399 on the bottom. I like a nice crack in my snare drum and not a lot of overtones, so I have a couple small pieces, like one piece of moon gel ripped up into 3 pieces on here. And my floor tom, I have a little more just because I like to tune it. If you noticed, the ratio was different. The more the ratio, the more the pitch bend and less sustain. When they're close together, it'll ring out longer and not have a big pitch bend. But I like my floor tom just to, not have a huge sustain and not have a big pitch bend. So we'll hit, starting on the snare, we'll go around the kit a couple times just so you can hear them. I don't have a microphone on my 8-inch tom right now, so it does sound a bit different. So we'll try it once here. I'm going to turn off all the effects and we'll try just the overheads. Now I'll try just using the microphones, but we won't have any gates, compression, all that stuff. So as you can see, it does sound a lot different in the room than once you get everything mic'd too. So keep that into consideration when you look at someone's settings and it sounds great. Sometimes you want to tune your drums for being mic'd, and sometimes you want to tune your drums for them live, and sometimes you want it to sound good in a room without mics. Personally, I play through using headset a lot, play the music, record and stuff, so I will often tune them and have an earpiece in, and I will adjust them as needed. One I like to play with a lot is my snare drum. I will try looser, tighter. I'll use different snares, different head combinations, and you know what, it makes a huge difference. For me, I kind of like to have the batter head a fair bit tighter, but there is times and places where I want them both loose and vice versa. The head makes a big difference. If you have a dual ply coated, it's going to sound a lot different than a single ply. The single plies I find feel a little bit nicer, but sometimes you get a bit more overtones. I kind of, with the music I play, it's fast and you need articulation. So I will often use a dual ply head as opposed to a single, even though I like the feel of the single for my rolls and stuff like that. And I also have just a couple pieces of moon gel. I have a little bit more of my large floor tom and my large tom. Just a tiny piece on these two guys. Another thing is if you have a bit of an overtone, everyone freaks out and tries to tune all this stuff out. You can often scoop a little bit in an EQ too and make your drums sound better. So that is one thing that sometimes, even if you're playing a live show and you have a good sound guy, if your tom's a bit out of tune, half the time you think it sounds like crap on stage and it's going to sound great out front. So if you found this useful at all, there's a thumbs up and a subscribe button underneath. If you could hit that, that benefits me quite a bit. And hopefully you took something out of this video. If you have any questions or comments, ask below. I'll do my best to answer. And good luck tuning your drums.